Welcome at the Meadowlands. And they're off.
Hello everyone, Wendy Ross for U.S. Trotting. Hambletonian Week 2022 continues. Today we're at the Marcus Melander stable, catching up with the three horses he has going into the final on Saturday, led by his star trotting filly Joviailty, along with Temporal, Hanover, and Periculum. Marcus, you have three really talented, horses going into that final on Saturday. Let's go through these eliminations here. Last week, of course, you had Joviailty, draws post 10. You know, when those eliminations came out last week, you were like, goodness, because you know what, you're putting the filly in against the boys. But in it, you said this, she has all the talent, she has all the tools, but you know she was going to need a little bit of luck. So through that elimination last week for post 10, big effort from her.
Yeah, it was, especially when she's been drawing so bad lately. He kind of had to leave with her. So I really would have liked to see her on a helmet last week, but, it didn't really work out that way. So, drawing better this week, hopefully Brian can work out a trip like that.
And I think as far as Temporal, of course, let's talk about you bringing Oren Kihlström over from Sweden. You couldn't get a better guy for the job. Of course, Brian is going to go with, was going to stay with Joviailty. So Orion came over, drove Temporal. What a big effort from him as well.
He was huge. He's been great every start this year, and he's a very nice horse. He drew okay in the final here with the 7-hole, but he gonna do a little bit of change, just take his shoes off, and hopefully that, can improve him a little bit more, and, he'll be good enough to win.
Periculum, your brother Matthias has the assignment there with him. I thought he had a big effort as well, first over, and I think, he's going to have, of course, he draws post 9 going into the final, which is going to be a bit of a hurdle for him. But I think Periculum, has a lot to offer in the field as well.
Absolutely. It was too bad he draw that bad, because he's a really nice horse. The last 2 trips been first over for him, and it's not quite this trip he needs. He kind of needs to trip like he follows someone, then he can speed a really fast quarter. So, from the 9-hole with him, we need a little bit of luck, so we'll see.
We're at the draw yesterday. It comes out post 2 for Joviailty. A little bit of a sigh of relief, right?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it gives Brian some options with her. When she had those bad posts, like I said, he kind of had to leave with her, both at Yonkers and these 2 last races at the Meadowlands. So, yeah, it gives him options, which is good.
This is your 4th straight time you're sending in 3 or more horses into the Hambletonian. Let's go back to 2017. It was your first Hambletonian. What have you kind of learned in the last 5 years from the first to now?
You always get new experience. Maybe, I'm older, I'm wiser, maybe, but you always learn every year. Maybe I'm more relaxed or whatever. We've done everything we can do at this point, or going into Saturday, then it's just up to the racing and the drivers.
Been knocking on the door in those last couple Hambletonians. Haven't got it done yet, but you know what? You send in the filly, very confident in Joviailty. And of course, the other 2 have a lot to offer as well, as we said. But you said, could we put her in the Oaks? Could we put her in the Hambletonian? You and Anders Strom, the owner, said, no, I think she could do it. And you're confident taking on the boys.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously was his decision. I didn't even tell him what, my thoughts are. I asked him what his thoughts are. And, when he said he wanted to race in the big race against the Colts, I said, you're doing the right thing, and I agreed with him. So I still think, even if we didn't win the elimination, I think still she's good enough to win the final.
As far as the training going in, we watched her train today. I think she looked great. Was there any differences? Do you train them any differently from the Colts? And then, of course, for the filly, prepping for the race for Saturday?
No, not at all. We just went a little slower today, which changed a little bit of shoeing on her, lightened her up a little bit. She's having some pretty heavy shoes before, so we lightened her up a little bit, and it felt great, so I was happy with her.
Any other changes for her that going into Saturday? And of course, you said some changes on the other 2 Colts, but anything for your talented girl going into Saturday?
I'll probably put some earplugs in her ears. She's been, having cotton in her ears her entire life. I don't know how much it's going to help, because she's an honest horse, but if it gives a little bit, we're going to take the chance.
Like we said, knocking on the door, but what would it mean to you to be holding that Hambletonian trophy on Saturday?
It would mean a lot to me, of course, like everyone thinks, but You know, it's not an easy race to win. We had a good shot a couple of years ago with Green Shoe and Jimpanzee and those guys, but if it's not, everything needs to be 100% that day. So if it's not, you're not gonna win. So hopefully we'll did something right this year and we'll make it go.